JRTV is back with the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. It's the biggest race of the season. It is the 2004 Daytona 500. The race which is the Super Bowl of NASCAR. All 42 drivers woke up today knowing they have a shot to win the biggest race of the season. But after 40 laps of action at the Daytona International Speedway, only one will be known as the Daytona 500 champion for the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series season. I'm Joe Rakowski, alongside me in the booth, 1993 Daytona 500 champion Trey Bardo. Trey, it's great to be back for a points race here at Daytona to kick off the season under the right foot here on JRTV. And I mean, with what we saw in the duels, Trey, we saw two very different duels, but interesting in their own rights. In duel number one, we saw three cars take charge at the front of the field, creating sort of a gridlock behind them, three wide, multiple rows deep. But in duel number two, we saw the field kind of spread out a little bit more. Some fast cars get to the front and hold the track position, while others were able to move through the field as well. So Trey, with now 42 drivers on the track instead of just 25, what do you expect we'll see? Will it be something like a gridlock? Will it be something where they kind of spread out a little bit more? Or will it be maybe a combination of both?
Honestly, I'm going to go in the favor of the combination of both. I think, for the first handful of laps, these drivers are going to get settled in. We're going to see some of that shuffling effect that we've always seen here. And maybe at some point, once some of these stronger cars get out front, we'll go back into that gridlock section, and we'll have to see what it takes to break that kind of racing. But in all honesty, I would not be surprised, like I said, to see both types of duels go into effect here.
Something that came into play yesterday in final practice that didn't really come to play in the duels because they were so short. They were just 15 laps apiece. But some drivers did longer runs in practice yesterday, trying to feel their cars out. Some in just a little bit of a draft, right? Maybe a 4 or 5 car draft with teammates or just friends out there. But drivers and teams had noticed a little bit more tire wear, Trey, a little bit more where handling came into play at the end, and they said it could be harder then to maybe shuffle through the field towards the end of the race. So Trey, when we get down to the final 10 laps of this race, you might want to have the track position rather than being back, instead of, the common phrase used at superspeedways throughout the past few years has been, who can time the shuffle right? Well, that might not be the case here today, Trey. If the tires wear out and if we get long green flag runs during this race, the tires could wear out, and it might be who has the track position at the end rather than who's, maybe 7th place at the white flag.
Yeah, I mean, already there's so many things these drivers and crew chiefs have to worry about going into this thing, Joe, but just add another element into it. Why not, right, with the tires, and we'll see who really has the best combination and honestly the best luck to get to the end of this thing and end up in first place when the checkered flag comes. So it'll be real interesting to see how it all shuffles out.
Well, we have two Daytona 500 champions in the field racing here today. Evan Hunter won it last season, looking to go back-to-back in the Daytona 500 in that number 36 car. It hasn't been done, back-to-back Daytona 500s, since 1986 when Isaac Nichols, he's the only other driver to win back-to-back Daytona 500s. Evan Hunter trying to join that elite company right there. And then you have Keegan Thompson, the number 5. Thompson won it back in 2000, his rookie season, his first ever race in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. So we'll see if Thompson can maybe find victory lane once again. The other two Daytona 500 champions in the JRTV era, they're associated with Hendrick Motorsports in ownership roles now. Jordan Edwards won it in 2002 for Fitz Bradshaw Racing. He's the big owner of Hendrick Motorsports now. And Brett Searer won it in 2001 coming off an injury. And now he's kind of, his Jordan Edwards' right-hand man. So Hendrick Motorsports, they have Keegan Thompson in the field as a past 500 champion. Jerry Chen won the second duel on Thursday. And now they have their two owners, so to speak, as 500 champions. So Trey, Hendrick Motorsports, do you think that they've come to play and try and get another Daytona 500?
I think out of all the teams, number-wise, I mean, they've got the most cars in the field, right? They got the power to do it. They've got the leadership to bring them there. It's all adding up. It's just, can they time it right with what you said with the tire wear? And honestly, they got to beat however many other drivers there are in this field because they're all itching to get that win as well.
Yes, they are. And you spoke at the fields, the full 42-car field. Let's go down trackside and find out as the drivers are in their cars. We've had the national anthem just a few moments ago, and we're getting towards the command, but let's go meet the field of 42 drivers and driver intros for the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series Daytona 500. Starting 42nd in the number 7 Melling Ultra Motorsports Dodge from Connecticut, Bibby Ruiz. Starting 41st in the number 45 Petty Enterprises Dodge from North Carolina, Hunter Reed. Starting 40th in the number 43 Petty Enterprises Dodge from Connecticut, Roberto Crown Jr. Starting 39th in the number 97 Roush Racing Ford from Georgia, Jay Rando. Starting 38th in the number 6 Roush Racing Ford from Georgia, Jordan Stout. Starting 37th in the number 8 Dale Earnhardt Incorporated Chevrolet from Missouri, Eli Wright. Starting 36th in the number 00 Michael Waltrip Racing Chevrolet from New York, Priya McShane. Starting 35th in the number 50 Arnold Motorsports Dodge from Florida, Marcus Lerb. Starting 34th in the number 48 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet from Alabama, Lathan Strickland. Starting 33rd in the number 19 Evernham Motorsports Dodge from China, Laura Chung. Starting 32nd in the number 17 Roush Racing Ford from Texas, Tyler Belladonna. Starting 31st in the number 91 Melling Ultra Motorsports Dodge from Egypt, Ahmed Wally. Starting 30th in the number 9 Evernham Motorsports Dodge from Pennsylvania, Jacob Miller. Starting 29th in the number 18 Jokins Racing Chevrolet from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Chris Jericho. Starting 28th in the number 3 Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet from Rhode Island, Justin Atkins. Starting 27th in the number 59 BAM Racing Dodge from Kansas, Tegan Fox. Starting 26th in the number 41 Chip Ganassi Racing Dodge from California, Nathan Ormond. Starting 25th in the number 70 BAM Racing Dodge from California, Angel Gutierrez. Starting 24th in the number 09 Phoenix Racing Dodge from Pennsylvania, Skylar Taylor. Starting 23rd in the number 84 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet from Ohio, Drew Webb. Starting 22nd in the number 77 Penske Jasper Racing Dodge from Italy, Jude Martinelli. Starting 21st in the number 99 Roush Racing Ford from Louisiana, Keyshawn Richardson. Starting 20th in the number 81 Fitz Bradshaw Racing Chevrolet from Sweden, Samet Ozkin. Starting 19th in the number 31 Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet from Oklahoma, Conrad Evans. Starting 18th in the number 2 Penske Jasper Racing Dodge from Michigan, Justin Zeidel. Starting 17th in the number 88 Robert Yates Racing Ford from Pennsylvania, Luke Rainey. Starting 16th in the number 1 Dale Earnhardt Incorporated Chevrolet from Texas, Anthony Hernandez. Starting 15th in the number 36 MB2 Motorsports Dodge from Vermont, Evan Hunter. Starting 14th in the number 33 Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet from North Carolina, Sarah Kirchner. Starting 13th in the number 29 Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet from New Jersey, Sebastian Kukula. Starting 12th in the number 12 Penske Jasper Racing Dodge from Iowa, Mitchell Collins. Starting 11th in the number 40 Chip Ganassi Racing Dodge from North Carolina, Benny Lynn. Starting 10th in the number 10 MB2 Motorsports Dodge from Michigan, Tim Gary. Starting 9th in the number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet from New Brunswick, Canada, Keegan Thompson. Starting 8th in the number 21 Wood Brothers Racing Ford from Massachusetts, Max Davis. Starting 7th in the number 25 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet from Florida, Matthew Burnett. Starting 6th in the number 16 Roush Racing Ford from North Carolina, Zachary DeLello. Starting 5th in the number 20 Jokins Racing Chevrolet from Canada, Mathis Wells. Starting 4th in the number 24 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet from Massachusetts, Gatorade Duel number 2 winner, Jerry Chen. Starting 3rd in the number 42 Chip Ganassi Racing Dodge from Indiana, Gatorade Duel number 1 winner, Nathan Stapleton. Starting second in the number 15 Dale Earnhardt Incorporated Chevrolet from Massachusetts, Ryan Wilson. On pole position for the 2004 Daytona 500 in the number 28 Robert Yates Racing Ford from California, Riley Spurley. And now with that out of the way, let's go to our track facts quickly before we get to the green flag. Beautiful day for racing here at the Daytona International Speedway. Nice February afternoon in Daytona Beach, Florida. 2.5 miles around is the racetrack. This is a 40-lap race, 100 miles in length. They will not have to make a pit stop. The fuel tanks are big enough to go all 40 laps. And a lot of banking in the corners. 31 degrees, 18 degrees in the tri-oval. That's been some of the sketchiest part of the racetrack over the past few seasons. And 3 degrees on the straights. So that is all the information needed for the 2004 Daytona 500. Let's go down trackside, fire the cars up for the biggest race of the 2004 season, the Daytona 500.
Start your engines.
The field of 42 fires up, ready to determine who will be the Daytona 500 winner among them after 40 laps of action. Trey, starting just back inside the top 10, your pick to win this Daytona 500, Keegan Thompson, the number 5. As mentioned, winner here in 2000 in the Daytona 500, but why do you think he's the man to do it here in 2004?
I mean, we talked about it, right? They're just, Hendrick is just looking all new, ownership with the part ownership with Brett Searan now taking the reins of his sort. They got 5 drivers now. They already won a duel. They look strong in duel 1 as well. So, I mean, and you got to mention, he's already won one of these things, Joe. So he knows what it takes to win it. So I think today is just going to be his day, and he's going to work his way up front and not look back.
Well, Trey, just a few rows back, the man I've picked to win it, I think a pretty solid pick, a man who can always find a way to get it done at these superspeedways, and especially the Daytona 500, is this number 88 of Luke Rainey. Sure, he's not yet won a Daytona 500 in his career, but in his 4 Daytona 500 starts, he has a 10.8 average finish. And oh, by the way, if that's not enough, dating back to the end of last season, he had 5 straight top 10s to end the season. He's looking for his 6th straight top 10 here today in the Daytona 500. So we'll have to see, can Luke Rainey continue the momentum from last season? Finished runner-up in the championship, was gaining on points leader Brett Searan all the way to the end of the season, but was just too far back to mount the charge at the end. Rainey starts just inside the top 20 here today, and will look to use that inside to his advantage on the initial start of the race. The pace car is about to make the left turn to pit road to go racing in the Daytona 500. The DNQs today: Henry Guo, John Barrymore, Nathan Baird, Matt Tuck, Zachary Fitzwater Sr., David Dixon, Colin Teagan, Joe Stobbs. The pace car is going to pit road. Riley Spurley, who led the most laps here last season, is on pole. Ryan Wilson to his outside. Here we go for the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. The green flag is waving for the Daytona 500. Nathan Stapleton did not get going at all from 3rd place on the inside, stacked the inside up, allowed Jerry Chen from 4th to clear down to the inside, and now he's using it to move to the lead on lap number 1 in turns 3 and 4. You can see Matt as well is getting a big push behind from Chen's teammate Keegan Thompson as they battle off 4 for the first time today, still building speed with these restrictor plates on the race cars.
Yeah, it was in terms of Stapleton, it was a very odd start for him considering in Duel 1, Joe. I mean, think about it. He was really the only one that was able to make that top side work when he was out front leading it, right? I mean, he made a pass and won the Duel doing such a thing, but we'll have to see. Maybe he just has one of those, longer run cars where it takes a while for it to get going where it was, but we'll have to see if he can make his way back up. But someone who's looking strong right now is, hey, look who it is, Joe. It's Keegan Thompson.
Keegan Thompson going for the lead. Matt as well has had it. Wells lost this race in 2002 by about half a car length, trying to win it here in 2004, but Keegan Thompson trying to keep that from happening. Moves to the inside. Hunter moves to the middle in the number 36. That allows Luke Rainey to the inside. Tim Gary, Hunter's teammate, coming with Luke. Anthony Hernandez on the inside. The pack 3 wide. Charging off turn number 4. Keegan Thompson clears the pack. Luke Rainey looks alone to the tri-oval. Thompson leads the lap, so Hendrick Motorsports led the first 2 laps of the 500. Luke Rainey to the inside. Already to number 50, losing the draft. Marcus Lerb not able to latch on, and so far falling off the draft only 2 laps into the race.
Yeah, he's you know, they're definitely hoping for some sort of early caution here to, you know, get back with this pack. But with early cautions always come, you know, that honestly strategy, because if you're either in it, then you got to try to figure out if you can get your car fixed and get back up in this pack. But if you're not in it, does it, you know, calm the field down, or does it just make them more, you know, antic or you know, scared to try to get up front as soon as you can to stay out of it?
Right now, hopefully they stay calm, but they're 3 by 3 throughout most of the field. Anthony Hernandez clears the pack, and now he leads all by himself. Here comes the rookie Drew Webb for Hendrick Motorsports, moving up nicely in the inside lane. Has help from BAM Racing's Tegan Fox on the inside, and here comes Chris Jericho, the 2001 champion of the series. Not been all that great in the Daytona 500 over his career. We'll see if he can try to find a way to get a good result, maybe even a race victory here today, as it's Webb leading them off turn number 2. Fox right behind in the 59. Fox now moves to the inside looking for the lead, but here comes Chris Jericho with a faster car. Drew Webb trying to protect the middle as well. Jericho moves low 3 wide, help from Ahmed Walid and the number 19 of Laura Chung, and a big run into turns 3 and 4 for the 18 car down to the inside of Drew Webb, and now they battle off 4. The pack still 3 wide for most of the field. Jericho comes off 4 with the lead into the tri-oval, Wallet to the inside, but Jericho leads the lap in the number 18 for 5 bonus points towards the championship.
You talked about it in pre-race. This is more of that shuffling effect we're so used to seeing here, as these guys are, you know, think about it, Joe. This is the first time that these guys have really been in a pack of this size, right? In the duels, it was cut down to half right now. But right now, I mean, you have all 42 cars in this thing, you know. The air is so different when everyone's involved within the pack. You know, the cars are acting in a way these drivers have yet to feel all speed weeks, and they're kind of like, honestly, I feel like they're a little nervous to really try to push this early in the race just because they don't know what'll happen.
Well, now we've had such a shuffling effect, a cycling effect, that now we've got drivers up at the front that had to use points provisionals to get into the race and started in the back 6 positions. Eli Bright was one of them. He just led the 5th lap of the Daytona 500. Jay Reynolds, another one. He has help from his teammate Tyler Belladonna on the inside. They're pushing Lathan Strickland to the front of the field in the number 48 car. So we've seen about every Hendrick car here, Trey, kind of cycle out to the front. We've seen the 24 in the lead. We saw the 5 in the lead, the 84 in the lead, now the 48. All we're missing is the championship-winning team from last season, Matthew Burnett, in the number 25, as Lathan Strickland continues to lead. Randall moved up top to get help from Eli Bright, trying to make that outside work. We saw it happen a few times in the duel. Not looking like it's going to happen right there. Here comes Tyler Belladonna, his first race for Roush Racing, moving to the inside and going for the lead on Lathan Strickland as they come off 4.
I think everyone is just trying to see what their car feels like out in that clean air, and so far it doesn't really seem like any car is strong out at it, as in terms of, you know, they're able to stay out front. Right now they're still kind of like playing, you know, hot potato with the lead.
Well, how about this for Mitchell Collins in the number 12? His first career Nextel Cup Series victory came right here at Daytona in the night race in 2000. But Trey, since that win in that Firecracker 400 in 2000, he's not had a top 10 finish at Daytona.
Yeah, that is not the stat you're looking for, but at the same time, you know, you won here, so you know you could do it. It's more of, you know, just making sure all the pieces fall in line and go your way, which is honestly the hardest part about racing these types of super speedway races.
Well, the front of the field spreading out a little bit. It's now 2 wide at the front. Belladonna leading in the number 17, and this, you know, it kind of spreading out like this allowed some drivers to make moves through the field. You saw in turns 3 and 4, Chris Jericho made a move to the middle. Didn't think it was going to work, move back up top. But now with the pack not necessarily packed 3 wide like they were, drivers can start making moves from one lane to another to try and see which lane's going to be the one to benefit. Right now, Tyler Belladonna is benefiting out in front. He's trying to bring his teammates up to the front. Jay Reno still hanging tough on the outside. Lathan Strickland, though, making a move to the inside. Hendrick Motorsports showing their pace early on, as it's 1 Hendrick car taking on 3 Roush Racing cars at the front of the field. And Strickland clears with ease off Belladonna. Will he slide up or keep that bottom lane?
He's going to try to block. He's not clear, so he can't do that yet. But now he's got to, like you said, defend off 3 Roush cars, and I think he's just gonna concede that because he can see the numbers are not in his favor.
Yeah, 2 Roush cars lined up on the bottom and a third one behind him, so not the help he was looking for. Here comes Baby Ruiz through the middle of the racetrack, getting a nice run from Priya McShane behind. Down to the inside, Jacob Miller moved over from CLR Racing's number 57 to now Evernham's number 9 this season. We'll see if Miller can produce some stellar results in this Evernham Dodge. Justin Atkins returning the 3 to the NASCAR racetrack, made a move to the inside. Hassel from Angel Gutierrez, who finished top 10 in the Talladega race last season. He's now looking to continue that success for BAM Racing in this number 70 car here today, but Jacob Miller leads the pack into the tri-oval, and Miller will lead the 9th lap in car number 9.
I know it's only been technically one half race with this 3 back on track, but it's a little strange to see it on track and me not behind the wheel of it, Joe.
Well, Atkins is doing what you would do right now. He charged to the front of the field from his starting spot a little bit further back in the field. Atkins now leads off turn number 2. Angel Gutierrez was pretty strong in the Daytona 500 last season for AJ Foyt Racing. Now with BAM Racing looking to be just as strong. Moving to the inside, Trey. This is a team that no one really expected to put too many cars, if any, into the Daytona 500 this season, but they put 2 of their 3 in, and now Angel Gutierrez is leading the Daytona 500 in lap number 10 with help from another underfunded car, Skylar Taylor in the 09 for Phoenix Racing, and then Max Davis for the Wood Brothers moving up inside the top 5 on lap number 10.
See, this is why everyone, no matter what team you're on, this is why everyone looks forward to these type of racetracks, because no matter what car you have underneath you, as long as you know how to work the shuffle effect and the draft, you have a chance to win these races. And this is just showing you right now, 2 of, like you said, the more underfunded teams are leading the entire pack in the Daytona 500.
And now they're going to be 3 wide. Taylor moves to the middle. Gutierrez up top getting a nice boost from behind from Justin Atkins. Max Davis didn't really have the horsepower to make the move down to the inside. Will Skylar Taylor block it off? They will, down to the inside. So it stays 2 wide for the race with Gutierrez up top, Taylor down low. We'll see if Davis or Crown can make the move. Atkins giving a great push to Gutierrez. He clears down the number 70, so Gutierrez leads again. We'll see if Atkins can get clear. That number 3 looks pretty strong up top, Trey, giving a nice boost to that number 70, and he might be clear of the pack into turn 1. Atkins is. He'll move down with Angel Gutierrez. What a great push from the outside lane, and that's where we're starting to see, it's more rather than just the inside working, it's about how good your car is and how good you can push the guy in front of you.
100% all the spotters on top of, the spotter stand right now in crew chief. So I can see the 3 diving to the inside to take the lead back over. But they're making note of this 3 being as strong as he is right now in the beginning, because come time, but when we're inside of 10 laps to go, if this 3 is up front, people are going to try to work with him because everyone knows that he can stay up front and make moves.
Well, Atkins left Gutierrez out to dry, so the number 3 will lead this lap. Jacob Miller made it a contest at the line, but was just a little bit too short to get another lap led. But now Miller has the preferred inside lane into turn number 1, has some help from behind as well. Here comes Max Davis to help. Roberto Crown Jr., 1 win in his career. It came out the Lowe's Motor Speedway in 2001 on some wonky circumstances. Max Davis making a move up top. He saw how fast that 3 car was, Trey. He wants a boost from the number 3, so we'll see if Atkins gives a run to Max Davis to make a move into turn number 3, and now they're shuffling around. Gutierrez looks to the middle. Evans looking to the middle. 21 trying to get to the middle. There's all sorts of crazy racing going on here. Drivers trying to swap lanes around. Oh, by the way, on the inside, Jude Martinelli comes through in the number 77 for Penske Jasper Racing. Martinelli up to 2nd place in the battle with Max Davis for that spot. Davis still hanging tough on the outside. They're all trying to chase down Jacob Miller in the number 9 through the tri-oval.
Love to see if Martinelli can get any sort of run going in the 1 here to try to. Whoa, that was a crazy move in the back there, Joe. I don't know if you saw that, but
I think that was Tegan Fox back there making a big move.
I was caught off guard a little bit. I was going to say, we'll see if the 77 could get any sort of run, but he decided to stay in behind the 9 here. And now, a guy whose reputation's really kind of mellowed out during the offseason is Conrad Evans in that 31 making his way up front.
Didn't he win an award for best comeback or something after his Talladega near miss in that big crash that just never ended?
Yeah, I think some other driver might have taken, the most disliked driver in the garage away from him. So now he's kind of, gone into the shadows and minded his own business for a little bit.
Well, Jude Martinelli, he gets out in front. We spoke of that big crash. Martinelli had a theme last season, Trey, not a good one, of being involved in some crashes, whether it be his fault or not. He found a way into them and DNF from a lot of races. I think he had 8 DNFs over the course of 32 races last season. Now he leads in the Daytona 500 on lap number 15. Led that last lap for 5 bonus points. Here comes Hunter Reed to the inside, still searching for that first ever win in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. Reed getting a shove from Priya McShane, making her first ever start in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. They're moving forward on the inside lane. Anthony Hernandez, number 1 with them. And then here comes Nathan Stapleton. We talked about the slow start for the 42. Didn't really see him after that, but now Trey is charging back to the front. That number 42, winner of Gatorade Duel number 1, in dominant fashion, trying to get back up to the front in the Daytona 500 from that 3rd starting spot.
Yeah, if he can get up to, the front here in some clean air, I'll be curious to see how strong he is. If he still has that same speed that he had in duel number 1, it'll be interesting to see if he can hold that outside line yet again, but he's got to find his way up front first. But right now, this 00 of Priya McShane is showing some speed right now.
She moved to the middle, but wasn't clear of the top, so Hunter Reed fights back up top. Anthony Hernandez fills the hole to the bottom. Will be 3 wide for about the first 6 or 7 rows, down into turns 3 and 4, with Anthony Hernandez leading the bottom lane well, bringing Nathan Stapleton, Keegan Thompson, and Mathis Wells to the inside as well. So we've kind of shuffled around now to where the guys are at the front on lap number 1. They're back to the front here on lap number 16. So Trey, it took about 15, 16 laps to go from the front to the back and back up to the front again.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, you want to be up front here whenever these tires do start to, kind of go off the edge of being comfortable. And if you can find yourself up front with the way the shuffling is, it's only going to kind of benefit you. Unfortunately for Stapleton, though, he was up front, and then he got put in the middle, Joe.
And Hunter Reed, the big push from Jude Martinelli up top. Hernandez could not block it. The closing rate so fast. Reed powers ahead into turns 3 and 4, but not quite clear of that number 1 car, so they'll stay side by side for now. Keegan Thompson trying to push Anthony Hernandez to the front. That's some Chevys lined up on the bottom, but some Dodges lined up top. 3 of them pushing forward. Hernandez is going to lead the lap. Reed not giving in quite yet. Does Keegan Thompson stay committed to the 1 or decide to make the move for himself? So far, staying committed. Here's a man not committed, Matthew Burnett. First time we talked about that, number 25 today, and now Burnett moving up inside the top 10 for the first time. So, and behind him, 2 Robert Yates racing cars are lined up. 88 Luke Rainey and the pole sitter Riley Spurgeon with the 28. They're moving back inside the top 10.
Didn't those 2 drivers win what was the award? Biggest surprise or something along those lines? Because I think a lot of people were kind of, impressed and a little shocked about how well they ran last season.
Robert Yates Racing put 2 cars inside the top 5 in points last season. The only other team to do that was Joe Gibbs Racing. We know how strong Joe Gibbs Racing is over the course of a season, so you're in good company if you're with them in terms of something like that. 3 wide to the stripe. Keegan Thompson leads lap number 18. Matthew Burnett giving a push to Mathis Wells. Marcus Lurb, it's been so long since he lost the draft, Trey. We're about to catch him. He's in turns 1 and 2 without any draft, off the pace. So now, Trey, he's not going to be slow to where he's going to, kind of fall out of this draft. Once he's in the draft, he'll stay in it. The question is, who does he hold up, and how bad does he hold them up?
Oh, Joe, one thing I did not miss in the offseason was the situation with lap cars, because we've seen it so many times, and quite a few times it causes a lot of people to get upset with the lap car in question. But yeah, well, it'll be interesting because this isn't a damaged lap car like you mentioned. So if it does hold up the line, how bad will it be? Because it in theory shouldn't be too terrible.
Yeah, you would definitely think that, he's going to be bad at first because the draft is just so powerful. They're going like 10 to 15 miles an hour faster than he is. But once he gets in the draft, he'll be up to speed, he'll be fine. The question is, which lane does he hold up and how badly does it affect them throughout the next few laps of this race? Matthew Burnett led that last lap to number 25 for 5 bonus points. The Robert Yates Racing cars now move out in front. Luke Rainey and Riley Spurgeon. Nathan Orman trying to make a move to the bottom. Samet Oskin coming with him. The 2 Robert Yates cars stay clear in single file for now. They'll run the middle. Spurgeon now moves low. I thought they were going to stay single file to catch that number 50 car. That's not the case. Riley Spurgeon took the advantage. He's going to move down to the inside and try and put a lap on Marcus Lurb.
Split him. No, we're not.
And Luke Rainey could not go anywhere. He gets halted. So now it's going to be the inside that moves, and the outside, Trey, going to be a little bit slow for a moment until they can push that number 50 back going.
It looks like they're getting him up to speed now. These 2 cars are going to get away, but Joe, I don't think you're gonna want to get as far ahead as that 28 is right now.
No, Riley Spurgeon was looking in his mirror and wondering where the pack went, and he's going to be saying in a few laps, oh, I wish that didn't happen, because when you have a pack of, 40 cars running you down, they'll be quite a bit faster than you are, even if you have a car with you.
Yeah, it's gonna swallow them up pretty good here, unless they can almost kind of work together. Well, never mind that idea.
Working together,
yeah.
What is that?
I was gonna say Orman might be able to just hook up to the back of that 28, and the speed difference might not be too terrible. But he decided he wanted to lead a lap, but he didn't even get it.
Yeah, he was a few 1,000ths off of getting it. I mean, if that start-finish line was an inch further, I think Nathan Orman would have led that lap. But unfortunately, it didn't happen, and now he might not get to lead a lap. Here comes Sebastian Kukulon down to the inside. Top 5 finish in last season's Daytona 500. Moving with Tegan Fox back up to the front. At number 59, Kukulon, a big block on Nathan Orman. Fox moves low, and Belladonna splits to the middle in the number 17, with Laura Chung now moving low to help Tegan Fox out, and Drew Webb and Mitchell Collins back up to the front, and so is the 2001 champion of the series, Chris Jericho, making a move, and here comes Justin Zeidel in the number 2 car. First race for Penske. Here he is, moving on the inside the top 15.
All right, Joe, we're past halfway into this race. Who do you think has the strongest car you've seen so far? We've seen pretty much everyone in this main pack, kind of go to the back, shuffle their way back up front, but who's kind of impressed you so far?
Well, Justin Atkins, those few laps he did at the front were pretty impressive. So was Jacob Miller. That kind of came in the same area, but now they've both shuffled back, and really, those are the only 2 cars, Trey, that I've seen be able to get up front and really hold a lead for a good amount of time. Everyone else has kind of gotten it for a lap, shuffled back, and now we've stacked the field back up 3 wide again. Here comes Mitchell Collins, a big move on Drew Webb, and Miller's teammate Laura Chung is going for the lead on Sebastian Kukulon. Zeidel forced to the middle by outside pole sitter Ryan Wilson. Now Zeidel actually moves up top, trying to get some drafting help and some momentum from the lane in front. They're going to stay door-to-door, side-by-side. Sebastian Kukulon fighting back on the top side is going to lead yet another lap of this Daytona 500. Laura Chung not too much help, and not going to get any help this time. Mitchell Collins moves low, and Kukulon stays clear. So, Trey, the Richard Childress racing cars, they get out front. They look pretty good.
I was just about to say, I don't think it surprises anyone that Richard Childress Racing brought really fast cars to one of these types of racetracks, and so far it's 2 of them out front, 2 of them able to hold the top line there. As you can see, he's going to go back up and actually get some more pushes from Orman, but we'll have to see if anyone on the bottom here can kind of make a surge up to the front, but 41 can do it himself.
Big move from the top to the bottom for Nathan Orman down in front of Mitchell Collins. He'll clear Kukulon with ease off turn number 4. So Nathan Orman didn't get to lead that lap a few laps ago. He'll get to lead it on lap number 24. Nathan Orman leads the Daytona 500. 5 bonus points there for that driver, the number 41. Mitchell Collins might get abandoned by the DEI cars. Here comes Ryan Wilson leading his teammate Eli Bright with a charge to the front of the field. Collins gets down in line in front of those 2. Now a look on Nathan Orman. Orman had to be careful right there not to get caught in the middle. He'll move up in front of Sebastian Kukulon off turn number 2.
We'll have to see what these DEI cars do if they stay together. Eli didn't want to, but Wilson's going to kind of make them do it at the same time. They're going to get a little bit of a run here. Is Mitchell going to shut the door? Not yet.
He couldn't shut the door. Wilson was down there. The whole pack is 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. Ryan Wilson trying to lead it. Orman getting a big push from the outside lane with Sebastian Kukulon. Bright trying to shove his teammate Ryan Wilson into the wind. Orman leads in the number 41 car. Ryan Wilson trying to get that shove from Eli Bright. Ryan Wilson has not led many laps here at Daytona or in the Daytona 500. His average finish at Daytona 26.0. He's not finished better than 18th in a race. He's only led 1 lap here at this racetrack, trying to lead another one here today with a push from his teammate Eli Bright. But can Bright force him clear of Nathan Orman, that 41, fighting back on the top side?
This is when, right now you're trying to find, your friends who you think is going to be able to get you and make you stay up front here, and who you think who's not going to have the speed come near the end of this thing to really, make a difference in this. And right now, I think we have, our candidates of, the RCR guys look strong. The injured guys are making their way back up front. That was almost contact between the front 2 right there as the 09 of Skylar Taylor was trying to make a 3 wide. And Joe, you can feel the intensity starting to ramp up a little bit.
They know there's only 14 laps to go and that it's going to be time to position yourself at the front of the field. And oh, by the way, Ryan Wilson didn't get to lead a lap in that exchange. Orman fought back up top and got it done. Orman getting a big push from Kukulon, able to keep that outside to work. Skylar Taylor trying to get a push from Lathan Strickland and Justin Atkins, and Atkins has teammate Sarah Kirchner with him. However, the Richard Childress cars last season didn't work all that well in the 500. Will it happen again here this season if they're lined up at the end, or will they have learned their lesson from last season and just get one of them in victory lane instead of one trying to get it for themselves?
Has there ever been a time where a driver learned their lesson?
Not many, if any.
I'm trying to think back. I don't think I've ever seen a time where a driver learned their lesson, and that's speaking for myself as well. I don't think I've ever, someone's told me something like, let's not do that again. I don't think I ever took it.
Well, back up on the inside, this number 3 car looked strong when he was at the front earlier. Now he has a teammate with him. We'll see if Atkins and Kirchner can work together. They're making a move on Orman and Skylar Taylor down the back straightaway. Orman, though, getting a big push from the other Richard Childress car at top, and Orman is clear of the pack in turns 3 and 4, so the 41 back out in front, but the inside's moving. Justin Atkins leading it up here in a 3-wide move for second place, now going for the lead. Atkins so good here at Daytona, especially in the Daytona 500. His average finish 6.7 in 3 Daytona 500 starts trade. That is just not only incredibly lucky, but you have to be skilled to do that as well.
Yeah, 100%. You have to know what you're doing to, get an average like that. And I mean, that just goes to show you that this guy knows what he is doing, and it's why he's up front right now with so few laps remaining. He's got, like you said, a teammate and Sarah Kirchner right behind him too. So we'll have to see if these RCR guys did learn their lesson. If not, nope.
Look at Kukulon trying to move to the middle to move with them. He left Orman.
Well, maybe they did learn their lesson. Maybe they had a strong, bonding experience over the offseason.
Maybe they went out to a campground or something and camped together and maybe just settled some differences, but some differences on who wants to lead the race. Atkins wanted it, but Tim Gary said, I'll just take it away, and the MB2 car now leads with 11 laps to go. Gary's not won since Texas World in 2001, a very long winless drought. Can he break it in the biggest race of the season, the Daytona 500, to win on yet another drafting racetrack? Anthony Hernandez says not so fast. He wants to win for himself. 2003 was disappointing, dismal, and at some point self-inflicted in terms of penalties and whatnot. Hernandez trying to start off on the right foot in the 2004 campaign, trying to win the Daytona 500. He moves out in front, and here comes Nathan Stapleton and Angel Gutierrez working together on the inside, and Jacob Miller just a few cars back, and so is Mathis Wells, runner-up in the 500 in 2002, trying to redeem himself here in 2004. Here comes Stapleton for the lead on Anthony Hernandez.
Stapleton might not have the strong car that we saw in Duel 1, but he is really good at making himself back up front whenever he gets stuck up top. A lot quicker than a lot of these other guys are. This is like the second or third time that he's kind of fallen back, but then immediately got himself back up front.
He's very persistent. This number 42 car driver is Nathan Stapleton, and now he got stuck to the middle because Angel Gutierrez made a big move to the bottom, and Gutierrez is going to get a shove from Jacob Miller to stay inside of Anthony Hernandez into turns 3 and 4. Miller giving the shove to that number 70 car. Mathis Wells is trying to shove them as well. Here comes Matthew Burnett back to the front. A few cars behind Burnett. Watch out for Petty Enterprises. They're lined up. Hunter Reed is leading Crown Jr. to the front of the field. Will they stay together? Gutierrez is going to lead another lap, but 9 laps to go. And car number 9 is back on front, Jacob Miller. But how about Mathis Wells, the 2002 champion of the series, trying to move himself back out in front of the Daytona 500 with Matthew Burnett trying to win his first race since 2001 at the Texas Motor Speedway. Moved over from Roush Racing to Hendrick Motorsports, and some would say that might be a better move. Some would say it was just a neutral move. Either way, Burnett's still with the top-tier team, looking to win a race for the first time in a few years. But he gets shuffled up by his previous teammate, Keyshawn Richardson, but he's going to block Richardson off into turn 3 and 4 and move to the inside of Mathis Wells.
All right, Joe. 9 laps to go, coming to 8 to go. Here comes the big question. Who is in the catbird seat? Who has timed it right in the shuffling effect to come out front whenever we get the white flag? And more importantly, who has the car to be able to block and hold off everyone else coming to the checkered?
Look at Matthew Burnett. He's moving all around, trying to protect every lane he can. He was middle, he was bottom, he was top, he's middle again. Can't block Richardson that time. The 99 slides up the track with maybe a little bit of a bump from Max Davis. Burnett way up against the concrete as they come off turn number 2. He's going to get the run off the corner, stay clear. Jacob Miller's gotten away, but Matthew Burnett's clear in second with Keyshawn Richardson giving a boost down the back straightaway. They're both clear in second and third.
Joe, here comes your pick on the bottom line. Luke Rainey's leading everyone there, but Sean Richardson is going to jump down to the bottom here. He has no help. We'll have to see if that run can carry him to the lead. I don't think he's going to have enough unless he gets someone behind him.
He got a great run, though. Look at that. He's carrying it down into the tri-oval. Richardson's clear of second place. He's on the back bumper. Jacob Miller into turn number 1. Will he make the move, or will he have to stay behind Miller? I think the run stalled out. He'll stay behind for now. Luke Rainey up to third in the number 88 car. Evan Hunter, his only 3 wins in the Nextel Cup Series have come on drafting super speedways. He's won the 500 last season. He's won Talladega twice. He's up to third now in this season's Daytona 500. He's going to push from Jerry Chen, winner of Gatorade Duel number 2. And the Melling Ultra Motorsports cars are lined up. 91 Almond Wallet, 7 Bibi Ruiz trying to move to the front. They'll get shuffled out by Jay Rando in the 97, nearly 4 wide for the 5th position.
Here we go with more Roush guys coming on the bottom. The 97 of Jay Rando is making his presence known once again. Joe, we've got some big names up at the front of this pack. They're all in contention. They all want to win the Daytona 500, but who is willing to make the more dangerous and risking moves to keep their car up front here?
And there's still 6 laps to go. Lots can change in 6 laps. Here at Daytona, Jay Rando, a big move on Jerry Chen, forced him to the middle. Sarah Kirchner back to the bottom, pushing Jay Rando. Pre McShane's on the bottom. The bottom opened up for a few drivers back there. Roger Crown Jr. jumps low. Hunter Reed, his teammate, trying to go with him. Gutierrez goes to the middle. And I want to give a shout out to Marcus Lerb. He fell a lap down. He was at the back of the field hanging on. He decided to drop out of the draft to not impact anyone in this race to the finish. Class act by Marcus Lerb, the rookie to the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. He knew it wasn't his day. He decides to get out of the way and let these 41 cars go hammer down for the race victory.
100%. That's going to earn a lot of respect from all the drivers in this field right now. They'll all take note of that, and they'll probably give him a pat on the back or a thank you. We appreciate it at the end of this thing. But right now, Joe, we're racing for the Daytona 500, and the intensity is picking up right now.
5 laps to go. If a yellow comes out, this race will be shortened under the caution flag. Sarah Kirchner with the move to the inside of Jay Rando. Came up 1 spot short last season for Kirchner. Can she get it done this season? She has help from Pre McShane, but will McShane keep helping her? She will not. Down to the inside for the 00. 3 wide up the back straightaway for the lead. Kirchner's going to stay clear of the bottom lane, though. Go from the middle to the bottom in front of McShane. They're 4 wide further back in the pack. If they wreck, the yellow will come out. The race will be over. It's Skylar Taylor, Jordan Stout. They're going to get together around. They're going to go. The crash is on. The race is going to be over. And Jay Rando is going to get back in front and possibly win the Daytona 500 under the caution flag.
They waited all race to do it, and they do it within the final 5 laps of the race, which could end it, Joe, and a lot of big names involved.
Nathan Ormond was involved. We saw Jordan Stout, one of the first to get collected in the number 6 car. Riley Spurley Tube, the pole sitter, is not going to have a good day in the 500. Mathis Wells was looking for some 500 redemption. Tegan Fox was at the front for a good bit of the day. Justin Atkins had a fast car. So did Hernandez and Sebet Oskin, but they're all involved in the crash. And with 4 laps to go, I don't believe NASCAR's going to have enough time to clean this accident up. And it looks like Jay Rando might just win the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series Daytona 500. Sarah Kirchner will come up 1 spot short, Trey, for the 2nd straight season. And Evan Hunter, who looked to go back-to-back for only the 2nd time in 500 history, is going to end up in 3rd place in that number 36 car. A lot of big names at the front, Trey, but it's going to go the way it looks like of Jay Rando in the number 97.
He's got what is this, the longest pace laps of his life right now to do it, and he'll become a Daytona 500 champion.
Yeah, that's this is agonizingly slow for Jay Rando, going around there at pace speed and hoping nothing happens to the car and everything stays straight in that car and everything stays under him in that number 97. As we have a few pace laps, so go check out what happened very quickly to bring out the caution, the only one in this Daytona 500. 4 wide middle of the pack, collects a few cars off turn number 4 to, looks like, end the race under the caution flag. All right, Trey, the intensity of the 500 down to the end, and this is what happens. You get 4 wide. It was kind of just people making moves at the same time. Got to this 4 wide. Taylor's trying to give room to Hernandez. Stout giving room to Riley Spurley. They get up into each other. Barely clip Hernandez down to Atkins. Atkins gets up into Mathis Wells. Wells spins down the racetrack. Stout spins down to Spurley. You can see Wells right there. Jericho and some others through the middle. Like Thompson just missed that. Look at Ryan Wilson, Chris Jericho, Eli Bright, Tyler Belladonna, Mitchell Collins. A lot of the field did a great job slamming on brakes to try and miss it. Drew Webb gets through the bound to miss it. There's the Evans with a little bit of contact, but then up in front, This number 28, the 20, they're spinning through the grass. The 28 gets clipped by the 20 up into the pack, and this is where the biggest hit comes. Nathan Ormond plows into that number 28 car. Zidell gets collected, Kukulon, Benny Lynn as well.
And I mean, Orman's probably almost full throttle right there, just trying to gas his way through it. And Spotter last second's probably telling him, check up, check up, check up. But at that point, it's just too late, Joe.
Yeah, but if that's the biggest hit we see here at Daytona, that's a very rare one.
Yeah, in all honesty, that's a small hit for Daytona.
It is, yeah. We're used to seeing cars flip and fly into concrete, but here this one was just two cars getting into each other, and unfortunately it happened towards the end of the race, and looks like we're not going to get this race restarted as we'll go take a look at this wreck one more time at full speed. And here's one more view, Trey, that 4 wide, and I mean, we were close to having that sorted out, but just a little bit of contact got a lot of people into each other, and this is the end result. Just a little tiny wreck here to end the Daytona 500.
Yeah, and right there, that's what does it. And I mean, all these guys, once they hear cautions out and they're wrecking, they're trying to get to that start-finish line and get as many positions as they can because they know that's the end of the race right there, and that's what you get as a result of it. But Joe, I mean, at the end of the day, it's guys trying to race for a Daytona 500, and you're gonna have stuff like this from time to time.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. And we've seen crashes at the 500 over the past few seasons, and we were thinking we were gonna go one without one, but unfortunately that didn't happen for this man. Probably fortunately it happened when it did. Jay Brando was leading on the outside. He leads them back to the caution flag, and barring any mechanical issue under these final pace laps, Jay Brando is going to be the winner of the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series Daytona 500. The white flag is out. The final lap is upon us in the 2004 Daytona 500. Jay Brando out front at the right time the caution came. Brando is going to be the race victor here in the start of the Nextel Cup Series era. And Trey, how about this for Jay Brando, right? He moved over to Roush Racing last season, was with Hendrick Motorsports a few seasons ago, Bill Davis Racing a few seasons before that. Jay Brando's first 3 Daytona 500s, 32nd, 41st, and 9th. He didn't even get to race in 2002. He wasn't in a ride for the 2002 Daytona 500. So Jay Brando, not so good in the 500 before today. 1 top 10 finish. It was a 9th place last season. Well, he's going to improve by 8 positions here today. Jay Brando coming into the Tri-Oval under the caution flag. He's going to hold off Kirchner, Hunter, and McShane to win the first NASCAR Nextel Cup Series Daytona 500 here at the Daytona International Speedway.
What did we what do we talk about, Joe? One of the biggest things to win one of these type of races is luck on your side, and finally fell his way for that 97.
Yeah, Jay Brando had the luck here today, but he also had the speed. He moved up to the front, held track position on the outside for a lap or two, and ends up winning the great American race, the Daytona 500. They'll pace around back to pit road, and while they do that, we'll go take a look at some finishing results from the 2004 Daytona 500. The winner here today, obviously Jay Brando under the caution flag. Car number 97 gets it done in the biggest race of the season. A great start to the season for Roush Racing. Sarah Kirchner ends up in second for the second straight season. You have to know, though, that win should be coming at some point in the near future with how good she's run over the past season. Third to Evan Hunter, picking up where he left off at the Superspeedways last season. Nearly got back-to-back Daytona 500s. Pri McShane, a great start to her Nextel Cup Series career with a 4th place finish in that 0-0 for Michael Waltrip Racing. First start for the team, first start for the driver. They end up inside the top 5. And Luke Rainey with the top 5, picking up where he left off last season. That's now 6 straight top 10s dating back to the end of last season. Jerry Chen with the top 10 for his first race for Hendrick Motorsports. Great run for Zachary DeLello. Same story as Luke Rainey, picking up where he left off with very solid runs at the end of last season. Jacob Miller, first start for Evernham Motorsports, a top 10. Ahmed Walid, first start in the series, top 10. And same with Drew Martinelli, a great top 10 run in his first race for Penske Jasper Racing. Crown Jr. just outside the top 10. Baby Ruiz, Walid's teammate, was there. Keyshawn Richardson, Hunter Reed, Max Davis. There's Matthew Burnett moving over to Hendrick Motorsports. Angel Gutierrez with the top 20 for BAM Racing. Top 20s for 2 Hendrick teammates, Lathan Strickland, Keegan Thompson. 2001 champion Chris Jericho, mediocre in 21st. That's kind of been the story of his Daytona 500 career. DEI cars, Wilson, Eli Bright were together most of the race, but not a great place to be together at the end. 22nd, 23rd. Tyler Belladonna, first start for Roush in 24th. But Skylar Taylor, first start in 26th. Drew Webb, 5th Hendrick car, gets 28th. Zidell, first start for Penske, 29th. Jordan Stout down there involved in the crash. Same with Kukula and some of these guys down here. Laura Chung just didn't really have the pace. Conrad Evans was back there in the crash. Mathis Wells, Justin Atkins, Hernandez. Marcus Lurb gained some spots because 2 cars were out. They were Riley Spurley-Tube and Nathan Ormond in the number 41. Both cars had the hardest hits in that crash, and that's how they'll end it in the garage out early in the 2004 Daytona 500. We take an early look at the point standings. Obviously not much changing here from race to race, as we obviously it's just mostly finishing position is how the points are. Maybe people get a spot or 2 here or there if they led laps or led the most laps, but otherwise the points look at just how they finish this race, and they'll obviously change as we get later on to the season through these 32 races and see who could possibly cut themselves in the right position through these first few races. But Trey, a crazy Daytona 500, very competitive, and not like anything we saw in the duels. We were expecting maybe a gridlock. If not a gridlock, maybe someone could get up there and control the race for a little bit, but that never happened, Trey. We saw cars come and go through the field, and the fast cars weren't really all that fast. They could get shuffled out very easily.
Yeah, I mean, that just kind of shows you what a big difference that what were the dual count car numbers? What, 20 something?
25, yeah.
Well, it shows you the difference between 25 cars and 42 cars in a pack, doesn't it? That it really, everyone does have a chance in scenarios where there's more cars, and that's why we love races like this. And yet, it's why we love the Daytona 500, because everyone has a chance to win the biggest race of the year, and they'll put it all on the line for it.
Well, after that crazy Daytona 500, a super speedway, we're going to go not to quite a super speedway, but about as close as you can get to one. We're going racing at the 2-mile California Speedway in Fontana, California for the Auto Club 500 for race number 2 of the 2004 season. We've seen some crazy racing there over the past few seasons, some great racing. One of the best races we saw last season was at the California Speedway. Let's see if it lives up to the hype this season on JRTV next Sunday, the Auto Club 500. Today, though, Jay Randall's going to celebrate. He's going to be doing a lot of media throughout the week as the winner of the 2004 NASCAR Nextel Cup Series Daytona 500. For Trey Bardo and Joe Rakowski, so long here on JRTV, but tune in next week for the Auto Club 500 on Sunday.